According to the 2020 Billionaire Census, yes, that's a real thing. Around 53% of the world's billionaires are self-made. The thing is, the criteria for what counts as self-made is pretty inclusive. Jeff Bezos' label of a self-made billionaire is a great example of this. When you hear the story of how Jeff Bezos founded Amazon, it usually focuses on the fact that the company started in his garage. It's a nice story to tell, but it totally glosses over the $300,000 investment Jeff got from his parents to start the company in the first place. This isn't to take anything away from the genius of his business model or the skill set it took to turn that $300,000 investment into a $1.63 trillion business. All I'm saying is that regular people don't usually get handed $300,000. Today, we're going to be taking a look at how some undeniably regular people went on to become billionaires. Welcome back to Coach Stack, your secret weapon for improving yourself through business, investing, and personal growth. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on our next videos. Alright, let's get into it. Ralph Lauren. Fashion icon Ralph Lauren was born in the Bronx in 1939 to a family of Belarusian immigrants. For all of his childhood, Ralph's family lived near or below the poverty line as his parents tried to feed, clothe, and educate 4 kids with a house painter's and a seamstress's wage. As a kid, Ralph loved to watch his mother sew colorful gowns and dresses on her old Singer sewing machine. He used to dream of becoming a fashion designer, but at the time, that probably seemed a bit optimistic. Ralph didn't have great luck with school. His high school marks were just good enough to get him into the City University of New York, where he studied business for a year before he dropped out due to a lack of interest. After returning from a brief stint in the army, Ralph decided that he was going to try to make his mark in the fashion world. Except there weren't many design studios looking for untrained college dropouts. Surprising, I know. Instead, Ralph had to settle at the bottom of the ladder of the fashion industry. He started his career as a clerk at Brooks Brothers and after a few years of hard work, moved up the ladder to a sales position at Rivets, a company that made ties. That promotion might not sound like a massive step towards success, but it was everything for Ralph. His big break came when after 4 years of working at Rivets, he decided to walk into the president's office on a whim and tell him why he thought the company's ties were boring. Now that might not seem like a great career move, but Ralph's boss was intrigued. Ralph pointed out that, at the time, women's fashion was all about experimenting with colors and patterns, while in the world of men's fashion, the only choice you got to make was whether you wanted your clothes in blue, gray, or black. He pitched the idea that men wanted to experiment with colors and patterns too, and his boss decided to test the theory. He let Ralph design a line of flashy, colorful ties under the name Ralph Lauren Corporation. Guys loved them, and it wasn't long before tie design made Ralph his first million. Today, Ralph Lauren net worth is around $7.2 billion. J.K. Rowling. The second self-made billionaire on our list is J.K. Rowling. The story goes that J.K. Rowling spent 6 years writing her first book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. During those 6 years, she bounced between having a little bit of money and having no money at all. She worked as a secretary and English tutor while trying to find the time to write after her baby daughter went to bed. At one point, she was even living off of state benefits. Rowling had been quoted as saying she felt like a failure at this point in her life, but it's safe to say things turned out pretty okay for her in the end. J.K. Rowling famously finished the first Harry Potter novel in cafes around Edinburgh while her daughter took naps. When the book was finally finished, J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 different publishers before she finally struck a pretty sizable deal with the publishing house Bloomsbury. In total, Bloomsbury offered her a $2 million advance for the publishing rights to the Harry Potter series. Just like that, J.K. Rowling made her first million. Today, she has a net worth of around $1.1 billion. Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey is one of the most influential and successful women in history. She definitely didn't come from money though. To give you some context about where Oprah came from, her mother used to make so little money as a maid that she had to send Oprah to school wearing dresses made out of potato sacks. It sounds almost cliche, but it's true. When Oprah was just a toddler, her father would have to hitchhike 16 miles out of town just to get to work. He knew he needed a better job for his family, so he started working 2 jobs at the same time, until eventually saving enough money to buy a farm in Tennessee. Oprah Winfrey started working at age 9 when her father put her in charge of watching the chickens on their family farm. At age 14, Oprah made an appearance at a beauty pageant with her friends. The owner asked if they wanted to audition for the title of Miss Fire Prevention, and against all odds, Oprah Winfrey won. She would go on to win the title of Miss Black Tennessee as well. Using her beauty pageant notoriety, Oprah began seeking out opportunities in media. She eventually joined a local news station in Nashville and bounced around between different low-rated talk shows. Eventually, she was offered a job as a host on the failing AM Chicago talk show. Within 2 months, Oprah helped the show overtake Donahue as the most popular talk show in Chicago. Movie critic Robert Ebert was a big fan of Oprah's work with AM Chicago, but he saw the show as a waste of her uniquely candid and highly personal interview style. He convinced her to sign a deal with his production company to start her own show, and The Oprah Winfrey Show was born. It wasn't long before she had $1 million in the bank. Today, Oprah's net worth is $2.6 billion. Larry Ellison. The final and by far the richest self-made billionaire on our list is Larry Ellison. Larry had a pretty difficult childhood growing up. He contracted a severe case of pneumonia at the age of just 9 months, and it got so bad that his mother decided that she couldn't take care of him and gave him up for adoption. His aunt and uncle decided to take him in and raise him as their own in the South Shore neighborhood of Chicago. Larry didn't do very well in school. He barely graduated from high school and dropped out of both of the collegiate mathematics programs he tried after just a year apiece. One thing he did get out of his college experience? A love of technology and computer science, specifically a deep interest in rational databases. At 22, Larry moved to California with nothing and landed a job as a salesman for an electronics company called Ampex. He pretty quickly began impressing the people around him with a level of technical knowledge that seemed at odds with his lack of education. One of those people happened to work for the CIA. They were so impressed with Larry that they hired Ampex to develop its database system. Larry completed the project in just 9 months and used his $2,000 bonus to found the company, which would become Oracle. Today, Larry Ellison has a net worth of $58.2 billion and is the 3rd richest person in the entire world. Despite having next to nothing when they first started out, these 4 individuals managed to do incredible things with the little money they earned, clawing their way to the top of their respective professions, industries, and crafts. There's no getting around the fact that becoming a billionaire is 99% good luck, but these 4 are living proof that a good idea and a strong work ethic really can make you a billionaire, sometimes. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any Coach Stack videos in the future. See you next time.